In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Circooter Landturbo Ultra Electric Scooter, which is Circooter's all-new off-road scooter with a rugged design, dual motors, and 2400 watts of power. I'm going to be going over the assembly process and go in-depth on the built-in features, and do an acceleration test, a braking test, a hill climb test, and review how it rides both on the road and the dirt. There's a lot to cover, so let's get to it. So the Landturbo Ultra comes in a pretty standard scooter shipping box, but it is heavy, so make sure to be careful when moving, and I do recommend having someone help you move it. After opening, the scooter is assembled about 90%. All you have to do is remove the scooter from the bag it comes in, unfold, attach the safety lock, attach the handlebars, attach the display, and adjust the display, brake levers, and throttle to your liking, including the box of necessary tools and instruction manual. The whole process only took me about 10 to 15 minutes. With most of my time being spent installing the handlebars and adjusting the display. This is a very easy scooter to assemble. When I went through the scooter, there was no damage, all the welds were nice, the brakes felt good, it powered up no problem, and all the electronics worked perfectly. So the first thing you notice about the Landturbo Ultra is the sleek and rugged design of the frame, which is made of 6061 aluminum alloy and is aggressive but not bulky. Powering the scooter are dual 1200 watt brushless motors, giving you a total combined output of 2400 watts. On top of the series power is the claimed top speed of 35 miles per hour that I'll be testing later on in the video. Having bigger motors uses a lot of energy to run, and providing this energy is a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery that's stored in the deck and has a claimed range up to 60 miles in a single charge. And since this scooter is fast, it comes with mechanical disc brakes with 160mm rotors and an eABS system to help with stopping power and minimizing brake fade. The wheels are 10-inch wheels that come with pneumatic tubeless knobby tires with a 2.75-inch width. And for additional comfort, there's front and rear coil suspension with a swing arm design. And for safety and increased visibility, there's a front headlight, a tail light that also serves as a brake light, turn signals that are visible both for the front and the rear of the scooter, and ambient lighting from the side of the deck. The scooter has an overall length about 49 inches, a wheelbase of 40 inches, a handlebar height from the low setting of 44.5 inches, from the high setting of 49.5 inches, a handlebar width of 24.25 inches, a deck width of 6.75 inches, a deck length of 21.5 inches, deck height from the ground 9.75 inches, a ground clearance of 6.5 inches, it weighs in at 70.5 pounds, has a max load of 330 pounds, and at the time of recording, the Landturbo Ultra costs $800 on the Circooter website. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to verify the speedometer. Now, before I get into that, that was the cruise control kicking on, which does turn on when you hold down the throttle for I think it's like 5 to 8 seconds. Turn that off. So right now we're in the walking mode, which the scooter says 12 miles per hour, but the app says 13. Okay, so now in the dual motor mode, we're testing out speed level 2, which is Eco, which is 18 miles per hour on the scooter, but 19 on the app. All right, so next is speed level 3, which is the race setting, which is 25 miles per hour on the scooter and 25 on the app, so it's perfect. Okay, so last but certainly not least is the top speed in dual motor mode, which is 35 miles per hour on the scooter, but oddly enough, it only says 33 on the app. Woo! All right, here we go. Checking out the acceleration of the Landturbo Ultra using single motor mode, which goes to 28 miles per hour. Ready? And go. 10, 20, 25, 28. All right, so the acceleration on the Circooter Landturbo Ultra dual motor mode to 35 miles an hour. Ready? And go. Oh, shoot. Whoa. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35. Woo! So for the final results, in the single motor mode, the scooter went 0 to 10 miles per hour in 3 seconds flat, 0 to 20 in 7.1 seconds, 0 to 25 in 10.7 seconds, and to the top speed of 28 miles per hour in 14.4 seconds. The dual motor mode is a different story, with the scooter going 0 to 10 in 2.5 seconds, 0 to 20 in 4.3 seconds, 0 to 25 in 5.6, 0 to 30 in 7.6 seconds, and to the top speed of 35 miles per hour in 10.8 seconds. So what really surprised me is how tame and user-friendly the single motor mode was. It's smooth, linear, and has minimal drama. The dual motor is much more powerful and quick. I feel this scooter could actually break 40 miles per hour if it wasn't electronically limited.
Alright, here we go, doing the hill climb test in single motor mode. This is about an 8 to 9 degree hill. And I mean, easy peasy, doing 24 miles per hour, 23. Jeez, okay. Well, that was easy. Let's do something a lot steeper. Hi, here we are on the second hill test climb. Still in single motor mode, just want to see how steep I can get it. So this starts off at about 12 degrees and it goes up to 15. So right now we are at the 12 degree part and we're doing 16 miles per hour. And now we're getting to the steep part. 14 miles per hour. Honestly, it's easily going up. Just for reference, I'm about 180 pounds and single motor mode, cake, honestly. I'm actually curious how much faster the dual motor mode is. So we're gonna do the same exact climb, just on the dual motors. All right, let's do the same hill climb. Starts off at 12 degrees, dual motor mode now. God, 26 miles per hour. The power output is so much more aggressive in dual motors. Now we're hitting the 15 degrees, or 24 miles per hour, 23 miles per hour. Dang, man. Jesus, that was easy. Okay, let's do the final boss of hill climbs in the town I live in. Okay, the final boss of hills. This is 22 degrees, dual motor mode. I've only had one scooter on this channel actually make it up this hill before. Let's see if this scooter can be the second. Oh, it's getting steep. 21 miles an hour. Oh, it's doing it. Oh my God, I can't believe it's actually doing it. 16. Wow. Okay. That was pretty darn impressive.
For the next test, I want to test out the braking distance from 3 different speeds. First was from 15 miles per hour, which the scooter stopped in 11 feet. Next was from 25 miles per hour, which the scooter stopped in 21.5 feet. So last was from 35 miles per hour, which the scooter stopped in 38 feet. So the braking on the Landturbo Ultra really impressed me because it's strong, smooth, and doesn't lock up very easily. I thought that the mechanical disc brakes were going to be underwhelming, but I was really surprised at the braking power. Also, the eABS does a phenomenal job of keeping the brakes from locking up. So the last test is the ride comfort test, which in my opinion is the most important test for an electric scooter. So I rode the Landturbo Ultra around a lot in my testing, through many neighborhoods and varying types of terrain, and the scooter handled all of them with ease. The scooter has a very smooth ride, with a combination of the off-road knobby tires and front and rear suspension doing a really good job of minimizing vibrations, while also not muting out the ride so you can still have a feel of the scooter beneath you. And for this price point, the suspension on the scooter works really well. I've always been a fan of the swing arm suspension design, and the Landturbo Ultra doesn't disappoint. On the road, the suspension is very smooth and is surprisingly well dampened. Just by looking at the suspension, I assumed it'd be extremely stiff, but it's not. It's very well tuned, and the rebound on the suspension actually works really good. I'm about 180 pounds and felt that the scooter was set up pretty well for my weight. The deck also has a good width and length, which gives the rider a lot of room to adjust their foot position, which adds to the comfort. Also helping with comfort is the handlebars, which are mountain bike riser bars that have good vibration dampening. The only thing is I wish they were slightly wider to help with high-speed stability. So even though the scooter is comfortable on pavement, it does have knobby tires that are wide and have a very aggressive tread pattern. So I decided to also take it off-road as well. While riding on dirt roads, the scooter absolutely crushed them with ease, with the suspension handling bumps very well and the tires seem to have infinite grip. So while the scooter can handle smoother dirt roads and most big hits like jumping off sidewalks, I did notice on bigger washboard, the suspension does get a little overworked, and you can feel many of the bumps through the bars, so you do have to pick your lines carefully. When using the single motor, the scooter does have a decent amount of grip. I never found myself in a precarious situation, but when the dual motors are engaged, two things happen. First, the scooter gets much more power, which you saw in the acceleration test, and obviously, this is thrilling and adds to the fun. But second is that the grip improves and makes the scooter feel like it's on rails. So as a whole, the Landturbo Ultra is a very comfortable ride, whether you choose to ride on pavement or dirt roads. So far from extensive testing, the Landturbo Ultra has held up extremely well to daily use and really surprised me with its quality, especially for the money. The brushless motors are almost silent, extremely smooth, and have an impressive amount of torque. What I really like is when using single motor, the scooter is very user-friendly and smooth. I would let a beginner use the scooter in single motor mode without hesitation. With that being said though, when the dual motors are turned on, this scooter is about twice as fast and powerful. The amount of power the scooter puts down is actually pretty impressive. I wouldn't recommend a beginner using the dual motor mode until they get really comfortable with the single motor mode. The tires, suspension, and frame do a great job of muting out any vibrations and is one of the most comfortable scooters I've tested at this price point. The tires really are the superstar though, since they're really grippy on both pavement and the dirt, and since they are on the larger side, they also provide a smoother ride. And since they're not super wide, the scooter still remains agile and fun when cornering. One thing I didn't talk about too much were the brakes, which pleasantly surprised me. They're mechanical disc brakes with decent sized rotors and an impressive eABS system. They have great lever feel, and they have really good heat dissipation with zero brake fade when stopping from higher speeds. What's cool is you can hear the eABS working when stopping, and it greatly minimizes skidding. The last thing I want to discuss is the fun factor of the Landturbo Ultra, which, let's be real, is off the charts. Obviously, the motors are the main contributing factor of this due to the impressive power and speed. It's not that it's just a quick scooter, it feels extremely fast when you're on it. The only thing I would have preferred would have been slightly wider handlebars for higher speed stability. So in conclusion, this is one of the coolest electric scooters I've personally ridden. And if you're looking to have one of the nicest electric scooters at this price point, the Landturbo Ultra is hard to beat. It has impressive power, it looks nice, the brakes are really impressive, it's comfortable, and the suspension works really well on everything I took it on, minus the nasty washboard. So I think if you're looking for a sub 1000 dual motor scooter, then I think you should give the Landturbo Ultra a serious look. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and thank you so much for watching, and have a great one.